Your product, faced with hard luck. Faced with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Your product, faced with hard luck. Faced with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Hard Luck Show. If you tune back in to catch the continuation of our interview with Risk, you're in for a special treat, my friend. If not, make sure you rewind a bit and go check out that episode. A lot of history, got a lot of perspective, and a lot of game. So without further ado, here's our next installment of our interview with Risk on the Hard Luck Show.
But it's the Paulie B.
Hey, this is
channel.
super inappropriate right now, but as we talk, my girl and I of 14 years are splitting up, and she's packing up and moving out. I'm watching her load box right now.
Get the fuck out.
But while we're doing the show, he's watching.
But listen, I keep thinking about Paulie B. So we broke up one night.
Oh, shit.
And Paulie B comes in and goes, hey, check it out, Marisa. Listen, I know this is hard and awkward, but can I just help you? Can I help you pack up and let's speed this along? Because I need Risky to come out with me tonight. Like,
oh, no way.
and he just had that smile, like, and she's just like, you cocksucker. And he's just like, hey, sorry, but let me help you pack up. Let's move this along.
Hey, listen, I know this is a difficult time, but I just greased the exit door, and I've already put some stuff in boxes. Can I help you carry it to the car? Because Risk and I are about to fucking blow up the town tonight.
In about 15 minutes.
I just stopped at the 7-Eleven and got a bunch of weird boner pills, and we are gonna fucking go out tonight. That's a good question. What about the other Paulie B story?
Man, okay, so we can talk about anything. Paulie's dead. Love you.
And happy birthday yesterday.
Hey,
Paulie B's birthday.
Rest in power.
Oh,
Rest
Sammy,
in
by the
power.
way, I didn't forget about you. I got your package coming
Hey,
out.
can
That's
I
just
Shout out to Sammy.
Yeah.
By the way,
Boy.
shout out to Monster. Can I get another one of these Monster juices? The can that you designed.
100%,
All right,
100%.
all right, great. Are you on that
Will you
side?
grab me one too, please? Yeah, sure.
Thank you. All right.
So Paulie,
best can
let's
I've
talk
ever
about,
seen.
There's so many Paulie stories. I'm going to talk about the last time we went to Japan with Paulie, right?
No.
Oh, I love Paulie
Yeah.
B Japan stories.
So we go to Japan, and we're leaving. It's me, Sean B, and Paulie, right? And we're going to the airport, and Paulie's like, got this thing. What's that? The dildo? He goes, nah, nigga, it's my shit. Like, it's wrapped in tinfoil. It looks like a fucking steel dick, right?
Right.
He goes, I'm keystering this shit. I'm like, what?
Wait, what?
I go, you're out of your fucking mind. He goes, hey, nigga, you see what we did in the pen? That ain't shit. I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, TMI, I don't want to know about this. Like, this is all disturbing.
Yeah, we call this a toothpick.
So he's like, whatever. He goes, I'm like, there's no way, bro. He's like, no problem. So we're in the taxi. He's like, pull over. The taxi driver doesn't know. He's like, pull over. I'm like, Paul, you can't wait. He goes, pull the fuck over. Like, so he's having a fucking fit. I guess I don't know what's going on down there.
Right.
Like,
It ain't
whatever.
working.
Yeah. So somehow we make it to the plane, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, this motherfucker. You have to understand, I just lost third rail. I'm trying to, it's a Hail Mary. I'm going there trying to sell it to the Japanese guys. And I'm like, this and that. And Paulie's just at a party, and I'm trying to be serious. And we get on the plane. And Paulie gets on the plane, and he fucking keysters this thing, gets it out, and he goes immediately to the bathroom and does a big-ass line of coke. Comes back, and I sleep on the plane.
Everything's all right.
I sleep on planes. I get on, I go to sleep, I wake up, and I land. Period. The end. And someone goes like, come on, Risky. I'm like, fuck you. Leave me alone. So I'm like asking the fucking stewardess, can you move him? Like, and he starts getting on a good one, bro. Every 5 minutes. I'm like, bro, you're very obvious, bro. Chill. He's like, fuck you, fuck them. I'm like, oh,
Fuck
dude.
you, fuck
He's
them.
like, so we land, and I'm like, fuck, dude. So this Akira picks us up. My friend Akira, and Akira picks us up, and we're going to this big concert, and Cottonmouth Kings are on stage, whatever. And Akira's driving, and Paulie reaches around with a handful of coke and throws it in his face. Goes, like gives him the fucking. He goes, you got blessed. And he goes, like, oh. So now Akira's driving like 200 miles an hour. And I'm like, bro, chill, Paulie. Paulie's like, fuck this, we're in Japan.
Yeah.
So we pull up, and in Paulie's fashion, we get to the concert. You know, it's all secure and shit. And Paulie's like, just tell him we're with the band. Paulie's like trying to, hustle, and he does. So they're letting us through. They're like, move. We got artists in the car. Move the fucking barricades. We drive right up to the stage. Get out the car. Paulie gets out. He goes, you know them? I said, yeah, it's Commonwealth Kings, my boys. They go, oh, Risky's in the house. Come on up. I go on stage, and Paulie's there, and all of a sudden he takes out his Mongols cut, right? I'm like, here we go. And he's like, now he's that dude. Right? So I'm like, you can't do that shit, bro. You got whatever, put it away. He's like, all right, man, just let him, tell him I'm going to spit 16. I'm like, what? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. So now he's mad dogging the whole band, right?
No.
And they're looking at me, and they go, who's that guy? That's Paulie B from Santa Monica. And he's like gangstered out and shit. And so he scares them, bro. They're like, all right, man, we got a special guest. We got Paulie B from Santa Monica.
He's gonna spit 16.
Bro, he comes out there, and I'm like, he must know something, right? He gets out there, and he's like, I'm Paulie B from Santa Monica.
And got stuck.
Oh,
bro. Man. How many people?
Please tell me you have this recorded somewhere.
Oh, it's a festival, like a Warped Tour in Japan. I'm dying. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is the best thing I ever saw in my life. This is great. So then we get to the hotel, and everything about the trip's funny. Like the elevator door goes, Chica. You know, Chica. Yeah. We're like, is that the fucking Jay-Z song? Like, Chica. Right. And then, you know, the toilet with the fucking remote control. So every time he goes to take a shit, I got the control out something. He's like, stop!
Turning on the hot water.
And so we're partying, raging, and they give us a bodyguard, a KF fighter or some shit.
K2 fighter.
K2 fighter.
K1, right.
What does that mean?
Right.
It's some Japanese thing, right?
Sorry, you could kick that dude's ass, right? K5, K12. What are you? You're like M13 or whatever.
It's different. I'm not kickboxing. I could do my stand-up because I used to fight.
Yeah.
But I'm primarily ground fighting.
Right.
That's just like some pride shit, that K1 shit. That's
but listen what Sai's telling that. You know he probably can't kick some ass because he's not blowing it up too big. He's like, I don't know. I fucking just stand up. I don't know much shit.
If Kelly's going to give somebody like the nod on where they can handle themselves, I'll buy it from
So Sai comes and he trains me, and we stop boxing and whatever. And I tried to grapple with him in the driveway one day.
Yeah.
And I was like, tap out, I got you. And I was like sitting there, and I was like, I got you. And I thought I had him, right?
Yeah.
And he tapped my nuts. I was like, oh, this is going to be real ugly real quick.
I just let go.
And I'm like,
yeah.
That's so funny.
But,
okay, what is the best? Let me ask you something. What is the best defense for trying to avoid somebody trying to take you down? What is it going to be?
Well,
get on that mic.
I mean, I don't need to hear myself, but like,
we need to hear you. Get on the mic.
I'm on the mic.
Because I hate when I hate
on the mic. Yeah,
you want me to like touch it with my lips?
Yeah.
You want me to get COVID from the fucking mic?
No. And don't act like this is anything new for you, bro. You get right up on that mic.
You know you like the tip.
Hey. So it just depends how they're coming at you. I mean, if they're far away and they just lower their level, like their head's dropping down, they're gonna bear hug you. If they don't know how to wrestle, you just step to the side and knee them in the fucking face, right? Like, literally, or you just push their head down, because if someone doesn't know how to wrestle, they're probably looking at your feet. Like, if you know a little bit of wrestling or a lot of wrestling, you're looking through the person. Your head is crooked, or your head is up, your neck is crooked, so that they can't control your head and neck. The two controlling points in the body, I don't want to get super annoying technical.
Come on, do it.
Is the head and neck, right? Is the head, which is...
Where the head goes, you go.
Or the hips. So the hips are going to be far away at this point, right?
Hips don't lie.
Yeah. Exactly, whatever that means. But anyway, so if you're controlling the head, it's very easy. Like, if you know what to do, right? So, but again, are they wrapped around you? Do they have a leg engaged? You know, it depends where they're at. So there's not like one thing. There's different variables. So like, you would literally have to go, okay, here's the situation. I'm gonna show you on. Like my students would be like, how do I do this, coach? And I go, shut the fuck up, show me.
Right.
Show me what you want to know. Don't talk.
Right.
Don't talk. Just show me.
Right.
And then they show me, and I go, I can pick it apart and put it together. So there's not like if someone's trying to take you, it's did they set you up? Did they punch you in the face, lower the level, drop down to a double leg or a single leg? Like it's just really, it all depends on how it's coming at you. You know, I had a guy.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, he's taught like we fuck around all the time, but he's taught me so much like. About that, grabbing the neck and watch his elbows and stuff like that. Just a couple things, you know. Chuck Liddell was on here. He trained Chuck in grappling or something, right?
I'm Chuck's jiu-jitsu and, well, not right now, but jiu-jitsu and strength coach for like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really do it. When he's getting ready for a
Focused.
fight, which isn't going to happen anymore, hopefully, primarily jiu-jitsu. But then the Rich Franklin fight, we did a lot of strength training.
Yeah, but what I talked about college earlier, you don't think you learn shit. So Chuck came and we were just playing around, we slapbox and shit. But there's so much that kicked in from what I learned from him that you just don't really realize. And he just said it again. Like I just remember that, like the neck thing and the watch the elbows and
but dude,
keep them up.
When you're like slapboxing with a friend a little bit, do you ever run the risk? You ever run the risk of like fucking? It kind of gets a little serious.
Oh, he fucked me up, bro. Like he broke 2 ribs. I have spots in my eyes.
No, I think he means like when you're messing with not Chuck fucking Liddell, like a person. Do they start to get heated and they want to make it a really That's what you mean, right?
Yeah.
Like it escalates a little bit.
Yeah, because I know, like I have
A slap has a way of doing that to you. You get your good slap.
Slap boxing, like I don't do that shit because it's dumb. Like I do it with him because he can control himself. He can kill me.
Right.
He's like. He's not getting mad at me. You know?
Right.
So I do it with people that train me like that, but I don't slapbox with friends. I'd say that's dumb. I just don't do it.
Right. You only antagonize people that could kill you.
Yeah.
Okay. So wait a second, dude. So Anti-Animal Cruelty Club is what your shirt says. Your
Are you vegan?
Yeah. Are you vegan?
Yeah, I'm kind of hardcore vegan.
I'm vegan.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Go team.
Yeah. American Indian vegan.
Yeah.
I used to hunt all the time.
Yeah.
So
Then you realize you don't need to.
Actually, I realized that the true American Indian way is to honor the animal spirit and stop saying thank you for having to kill you, but letting them live because now you don't need to.
There you go. So
It's more traditional to not kill the animal, I realize.
that's a
Really?
beautiful thing.
Yeah, I grew up on a reservation. Listen,
You love some ribeye, and you love some motherfucking salami.
the first time that I hunted on my own, I was 9 years old on the Seminole Indian Reservation hunting wild boar, and I killed my first boar when I was 9.
Those are mean.
And they ain't pretty.
Yeah.
Well, but since then, I've been vegan maybe now 3 years, 4 years.
All right, keep going.
Yeah, I am. I love it. I mean, I don't push it too hard on anybody else, and it really is about the animal for me, not the health. It started out as the health, but now it's really about, you know what, I just can't be a part of that.
I mean, there's so many aspects. Like people that come to me,
Yeah.
because people will come to me, right? Like
Yeah.
you say, they'll either come in the negative or the positive. Hey, I'd like to do this. What should I do? And generally, when they say that shit to me, I'm like, watch this, read this, watch this, get back to me. Because people want to hear what they want to hear. They want to be told what they're doing is okay and it's right and that's the answer. Like, oh, I just got to tweak this a little bit. And that's never the case, right? Like,
Right.
When I break, how can I lose some weight? I want this vegan thing, blah, blah, blah. And then I tell them and they go, the first fucking thing is, oh, I can't do that. So now I don't bother. I go, watch this, get back to me next week.
What's the craziest fight you've ever been in? I know you don't want to glorify it, but fucking glorify it. What was the craziest fight you ever been in?
Healthy eating habit. Okay.
Yeah, they're related.
Probably
I don't
slapboxing
know.
me. I think
Yeah,
it's
that-
the toughest
No,
thing
I
ever
mean,
did.
seriously, have you ever been in a Navy bar and they were like, hey, fucking puke? Hey, come on, man.
Okay.
Hey, fucking puke.
So, I mean,
Come on.
no, there's really a lot.
Was there ever you in a place and maybe you painted over somebody's name and the other guy was like, hey, we're going to check this guy?
45
No, but
minutes.
I've
Yeah.
hunted people down that gone over me and did things for me. Because especially
go.
now, it's a whole different element. It's not like we're kids in the park and like, oh, that's that guy. Get your team, get our team. And then we start fucking fighting.
Yeah.
Which is what I did. I grew up in New York and we would get in cars
Yeah.
and go to the other neighborhoods and they get in cars and go to our neighborhood. I got stab wounds all over me from that shit.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I mean, I guess that's crazy. There's just so many
Was there
fights.
ever a guy that didn't know who you were, all right, and like based on your size and he was bigger, gave you a bunch of shit and you're like, I don't want to get into this with you, man. And then eventually you had to do like 3 moves and he was like,
That probably happened like 1,000
Yeah.
times.
I
in his
well,
life.
did it?
Yeah.
When's the last
it
time?
used to happen all the time when I'd go out and stuff in Hollywood when I was a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Someone's running their mouth. One guy was you might know him. He's it's not a tough guy. He's an art dealer. He's part of what the fuck was that guy's name? He's an art dealer.
Is it true it was Paul Rubens?
No. He's not a tough guy. He's it's just a funny story.
Yeah.
Cantor?
Mark Cantor?
Cantor's
No,
Oh.
no.
Not
no.
Mark Cantor?
No, it was a Cantor fan. Oh, fuck. Neil?
Oh, you talking about the guy that died?
No, I don't know if he's dead. I hope he's not dead. I don't want to tell the story he's dead. He's probably a
Just
little
tell
younger
the
than-
story.
Anyway, this dude's
Did you did the Guns N' Roses book?
I don't know. Maybe, might be. I don't know. It's Neil's Cantor. Does that sound familiar?
One of the Cantor.
Is it true? Neil Diamond? You beat up Neil Diamond?
Neil Diamond. So this guy's like 6'5". You know, I'm like 5'9". I'm talking to some girl I'm standing on the curb. So at the curb, I'm still shorter than him. He's backing his ass, and we're in the parking lot of the Standard on Sunset. He's backing into me. So I put my arms out, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, chill. Give me some fucking elbow room, man. There's plenty of room, right?" Turns around. What, you little fucking... He starts going, and I just look at him. I go, "You gonna press charges for what's about to happen?" And he's like, he puts his hands out, wide, like the big, I'm bigger than you type thing. And I don't even do like a jujitsu thing. I push one shoulder and I pull the other. This is not a move that you would learn. I just go like that. He spins around like in a second because he's probably drunk and on drugs.
Right.
Put him in a rear naked choke. Bring him down to the ground. There's people like girls like hitting me and batting him.
Right. I got that. I know exactly what that's like.
So the best part of this is that, and he's like this big dude. He's on, and it's not that exciting of a fight story. It's a funny story. He's on all fours. Well, no, he's not. He's on his knees, doggy style, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's sleeping now. His face is turned to the side, and his arms are still spread out the way they
Yeah.
were. In the parking lot, the
Put
parking
him sleep like a little baby. Right.
And one of them was like, "Ooh, get like some Mexican dude's like, get out of here." So I just bolt. He's sleeping.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Change my shirt. Still have my park. I handily got my park ticket. I'll be back in 10 minutes, right? He's like, "I got you." I run away. I change my shirt. I come back. Niels is gone. Everyone's gone. They pull my car. We got you. I get beat up Nissan.
And I didn't tell you, it happened last night. Ryan, we were at the kilt last night, right?
Yeah.
And some dude's trying to get in this chick's car. And Ryan's like, "Dude, leave it alone." And same thing. He said, "What you gonna do?" And he came at Ryan cold, and we all took pictures of him. Like he's all.
Oh, he hit him?
Oh, he knocked him out. He's on the ground like this, and we all took pictures next to him.
Was it's true that was Eric Trump that got knocked out?
So there's like a lot of those type of things. I'm just thinking right now because you said I was in some like hot stripper's house, and like we were just about to go at it. Some dude just kicks the door, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah. It's my husband.
And
Don't
she's
worry,
like,
he's
"Oh,
my
it's my
ex-husband."
neighbor." He's like some glassy-eyed drunk dude, and I'm like, "Well, why is he in your house?" She's like, "It's all right. I'll get him out here." I'm like, "That was weird." So we're starting going. He comes back. So I go outside. I'm like, "That's enough." I walk out. I'm in my underwear.
Right.
With
wood. You got
with a chub. It wasn't wood anymore. I didn't keep it. I couldn't retain the wood. I'm not that good.
Right.
So it was a chub, right? So I walk outside. He crouches down.
He starts flirting with you.
He crouches down like real low.
Oh, does his mouth start opening?
Pretty much. I'm like, "Am I getting a blowjob?" But he does like a kung fu thing with his hands.
Okay.
Out of here.
Dragonfly blowjob, right?
Danielson.
He goes, "I want to challenge your style."
Shut the fuck up.
Like, what? And I was like, "What?" I want to, and I just snapped his head. I control the neck. I put him in a choke. It's called a guillotine.
Yeah.
And the girl's like, "Scott, stop it!" She's some Australian chick, whatever the fuck she is. And I pre-sleeping. I put him down, and his head goes thud on them. And we're in Beechwood Canyon, so it echoes. Like just his head in there, thud, thud, thud. And she's like, "You killed him!"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm picking him up, and I'm dragging him down the street. He wakes up, glassy-eyed, looks at me, and he just runs. Like right from waking up, he runs the other direction.
Yeah.
He sees me a week later in a bar, Birds in Beechwood. He comes up to me with his hand out, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this?" He's like, "I just want to thank." I'm like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Remember last week you choked me?" I was like,
You had a chub?
I was like, "Dude, yeah, we made out." I was like, I'm cool. Just keep your distance." He's like, No, I just want to thank you. You humbled me. I was like, "Yeah."
You actually helped me.
I was like, "Don't start shit with people you don't know." So yeah, there's a lot of situations. Mostly, fortunately.
Dude, we should have a sci-fight show. What do you think about that?
I just got to remember them. There's been like...
That's all right. We'll just fucking... We'll put
I haven't had a street fight in fuck, man, maybe like 2 years. Now I just antagonize people verbally and everything.
What's your guard?
He's
What
very
guard
good at
do you use?
antagonizing verbally.
Huh?
What guard do you use?
Primarily?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my strongest would be my rubber guard. I mean, I'm a 10th planet black belt.
Right.
I'm the only
10th
third
planet?
degree black belt in 10th planet.
What's 10th Planet doing right now with COVID and all that?
Oh, so there's over 100 affiliates. So everybody's all independently owned or just affiliates. So
Right.
some guy in some other states probably running class normally. Some people like, "We're not here. We don't exist."
Right.
I am pleading the fifth on that.
Right. Quit trying to get liability on
Yeah.
fucking side. He's going to kick your ass, Sean.
Why is it that during like the barroom fight or whatever fight it may be, bro, like as soon as some fucking punches start getting thrown, people, at least my experience is like the screaming that's going on.
Yeah.
Especially from the women. Some men.
God, the worst.
It's like I'm stabbing somebody to death.
Like you're chopping his head off.
Dude, like, I mean, flipping out. Like, and when he's talking about chicks hitting you and motherfucking bottles getting blood, like, man, I just know what that
chaos
is. When I'm
in
trying to beat this motherfucker's head in,
Yeah.
and I've got like the wife trying to bust a bottle, the uncle, somebody's pulling my legs, somebody's going in my pockets, I'm trying to fucking, right? And just people are screaming Bloody Mary.
That's funny because like the beer nut days, right? We used to get a lot of punk rock fights, right? It was just like a bunch of dudes screaming, whatever. Fast forward to Hollywood, all those fights and Smalls, you were there for a bunch of those fights.
There was a fight I had.
Steve Oreo at the door.
There was a fight I had in front of Cantor's. Speaking of Cantor's, you know,
Panthers,
the
I had a
restaurant.
couple good ones in
So
Canada.
the guy's name was something Cantor, but it's just ironically another fight I had right in front of Cantor's a few years ago. There was a girl I was with who she was fucking hot, but she and two of her friends, she would just talk shit about how she'll punch someone in the face and she'll kick their talk all this shit. Some Beverly Hills girl. I'm like, all right, she's cool, right?
Right.
These dudes, these like drunk frat boy jerk offs. So like, I'm sitting with these three girls. They're throwing like creamers at them and talking shit, and I'm like, what? And they're like, Scott, calm down. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll be good, right? Walking out, one of the guys is maybe 15 feet away, and he's looking at the girls. He's like, bitch, you better suck my, and he's about to say cock, and I'm like, I like a vampire. I just appear in front of him, drop him, right? Drop him, jump over him, grab his next friend, pull him back, and I have him in a rear naked choke. I spun around too, so my back's on the car. Choke him out, throw him in over the guy that just got knocked out, slug the other guy. They're both on, all three of them are on the floor now. I bounce. I'm like, I'm out. It's Hollywood.
Right.
I'm like, press charges. Everyone wants to fucking press charges. So I bounce. The whole time this happened, the girl that's talking shit, I'll fucking kick your ass. I'll be all that stuff. That girl is high-pitched screaming. My ears hurt.
Oh, right.
Then in the car,
yeah.
we don't do things like that over
Right,
here.
right,
This is wrong. What's wrong with you? How did you grow up? Were you
Right.
raised in a barn? I'm like, you just said you're going to kick everyone's ass. I just kicked a bunch of people's asses
Right.
for fucking with you. And you're the one screaming.
Let me
That's it.
ask
It's like a woman when she tells you, when you first start dating her,
Yeah.
and she's telling you about all this shit she's about. I do this, I do that. That's the red flag. This bitch ain't got nothing going on. And in about 2 weeks, you're going to be her whole main focus in your life, right? Every
100
time.
Come on. Yeah.
Come on. What are you talking about? Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
What about this? What don't people who work with color a lot risk? What don't they understand about color?
I don't know that, but I know me as my murals, my outdoor murals, my
Yeah.
public murals. I'm a color-filled artist in that sense, right?
Yeah.
It's all about evoking emotion with color.
Right.
That's what it's about. So, I don't know. There's so many different forms of art. I don't know what makes people tick, but I was in London painting for the Olympics, and Ron English was there. I was doing a mural with him and Shepard, and they're like, "Risk, so good to see you here. What do you want to do? What do you want to say?" And I don't have a plan for shit, right? So I'm like,
Right.
I think I'm just gonna write Risk or something. And then I go, "Oh," and they were just bummed out. Like they're like, "Oh," I'm like, "No, I mean, I don't know." And they go, "No, Risk is cool. That's great, but like, what do you want to say?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't like to say shit. I'm not a political artist and shit. Like, fuck that."
Right.
And I went from like wanting to punch Ron English in the fucking face to going up to a room and going like, "Man, what makes me tick?" So I had to think about it. So I was like, all right, so what's the most happiest I am when I do, most satisfying thing, right? And it's like going down the freeway the next day, seeing a piece after I did it that night, right? And I get all amped up and sit. I go, man, people probably can't read that piece. They just go by and they see the color and they get amped up. So I'm like, let me see if I can evoke the same emotion without letters or a character, right?
Right.
And that's how it started. So I went and painted the back of my house, you see over here.
Yeah.
And to evoke emotional color with these big things. So I paint these whole big buildings, and that's what it's all about. So I realize I'm a color-filled artist. I don't have to be political, or I don't have to do this or do that. So that's how it all started. So
But that's the reason why I asked you about, in certain sense, your insights into color.
Yeah.
Because you work with color. Like when I looked at some of your designs, a lot of times I see your color-filled stuff, like the St. Joseph's Hospital and the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you also have every so often also like a butterfly involved and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, like, when you spend that much time with color, do you start to understand things about color? Like, do you start to realize, like, oh shit, this is
Well,
fucking...
we talked earlier about school, right?
Yeah.
And I do contrasting colors. So contrast colors, like, a lot of people don't work with contrast colors. I gravitate right to it because everything I do is positive and negative. You saw the Buddhas with the knives around them and the horseshoes upside down and this, all this stuff.
Right.
So contrast in colors fucks with your eyes. I like it. I like, it pops. My understanding of color, I really don't know, but I've had Ron English, who's a good friend of mine, and taught me a lot about myself. Told me one of my biggest compliments I ever got was like he said something about like your understanding of color is something that most people will never achieve. Like you're the whatever. He gave me a big comment. I got to figure out what he said.
Don't be humble.
It was good, but yeah. So anyway, I don't know, man. Color is just like I don't know. It's something that's vibrant. It's alive. I speak through color. I speak through paintings.
Besides the yellow and leather brown that you got sick of because of bullshit, what colors don't go together for you personally? Where you're like, man, whenever I see fucking puce and fucking
brown and yellow and light blue.
Any other ones that you're like, that's actually what a clashing chord would sound like for a musician?
But here's the thing, bro. Like everything goes full circle, right? So right now when I said it, I think I could probably fuck with a leather brown, school bus yellow, baby blue piece and probably pull it off and make it nice because I'm in a celebratory stage of life right now. I love my daughters. I love this. I love that. So I could probably, my mindset's different, right? So I could probably make that work, And it's all about
coming with solution.
It's all about, as a graffiti artist, we adapt, right? It's all about working with what I have. Like people always trip out. I get to a wall, I'm like, oh, I didn't bring this color. And they're like, oh, fuck, I guess come back tomorrow. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to get busy right now. Like, I make it work,
But as we get older and we mature, we start moving towards the stream of life. We start letting go, at least me, I'll speak for me, start letting go of what I held on to so tightly.
Yeah.
I slowly start letting go. I slowly start becoming more like water, if you want to say.
Yeah.
And moving with things. And that's even personal relationships, how I do business and the less I want to fight with things. You know what I'm saying?
Water and Power. You saw that movie?
Yeah. Well, great.
Yeah.
One thing, you'll you'll totally get this, man. Like, I've always had something about gradients that either make me feel like a kid or make me feel at home or when I see a gradient, and it's playing off of like our sunsets at the beach, depending on how they are, and I've seen you like when maybe black and white was, because it goes back in and out, things come and go. But I've seen at times where it was really about like really black and white and dramatic.
All my freeway shit,
Right. I've seen you take a hold and get into much kind of like part of this painting I'm looking at, some gradients before everybody was jumping on the gradients. And it really stood out as risk.
Yeah.
It was you and like somebody from K2S too. But would pop these gradients and I wouldn't see them anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, fuck, that's the fire. That's the stuff that changes me.
Yeah.
Like when I see that, it interests me. Like that gold and that, whatever that is, fuchsia right there, my eyes drawn to that and drawn to that because I love those. I've seen that in you. And I've also seen, people may think this sounds crazy. I'm into like some of the packaging of some of this weed, bro.
Yeah.
Like the fucking, some of the gradient play and lettering play. And I always think of like, when I see it, I think of risk, man. Like I like shit that.
One of my pens? Ask Brian for one of my pens. I'm going to show you one of my pens.
Okay. Yeah. I love shit like that. And I like playing in worlds that look like sometimes candy, junk food wrapper. Like, I love that, bro. I love old Oreo. When you look at a pack of Oreos, if you really just look at like the logo and the blues around the, like, it's beautiful, bro. Like, I love that shit. I get off on that shit, bro.
100%.
What's the best designed junk food thing? Where you're like, just like Steve just said, Oreos, do you ever like look, besides, it's not junk food, so obviously Monster, your design of the can is the best, but that's not junk food. What is the one where you're like, ooh, that Doritos Cool Ranch, that was the best?
I got to look it up, but I posted it, but I found this like Philippines food, and it was like putang or some shit, and it was like the best nuts. I was like, what? It's just like so good, man. Yeah. It was, I forget what it was, but it was fucking so good. But no, I don't really know, man. Lifesavers is good, right?
Lifesavers is good. Sean, what do you think is the best designed fucking candy thing?
I don't know.
Thank you for that insightful response.
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were finishing up on that.
No, I just like that stuff, and I've just, whenever I see it, I can't.
Kool-Aid.
Kelly comes in Kool-Aid. Kelly comes into my, but he's been doing this for a while. But just those gradients, it's like, to me, it's a very at home. It's a really West Side thing. And when I see these colors, I just like them, man. And I like playing in that field. And Kelly, I can look through some of Kelly's stuff, and within seconds, I'm going to start finding a lot of that gradient. It's just something that you play with. You're not afraid to fuck with these colors.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Well, let's get down to some serious fucking. Let's stop fucking around. What does Risk? What is Risk? What do you think of Bob Ross?
Bob Ross is the man, man. Bob Ross. I sometimes post, like, I go hard in the motherfucking paint, you know, picture of Bob Ross.
Yeah.
He's a man. And I think it's great because, you know, his paintings were like nothing, right?
Right.
And now they're fucking, you can't get one, right?
Right.
It's impossible. But, okay, it's like Buddy Rich, the drummer, right?
Yeah.
It's not about how simple it is. It's how good it is, right?
Yeah.
So that's Bob Ross, bro.
Yeah.
And he epitomized, like me as a graffiti artist, I epitomize what graffiti looks like. It's not that my shit's like, I could do lost on shit, but like, I'm known for being that dude that does those fucking super basic, clean fucking jammies that do a million of them, right?
Right.
It's the same shit, bro. It's just like, he's the man.
Did you watch Bob Ross growing up a little bit? Like,
Yeah,
did you
a little
ever-
bit. Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit,
for
right?
sure.
I know I did. I watched him on the
Happy Mistakes?
No, yeah, right. There's no mistakes, only happy accidents.
Yes.
And then eventually, like, he got a squirrel friend. And he puts the squirrel friend in his pocket, and he's like, "This is my little friend. I want to bring it up." And I was sitting there, yeah, it's a true story.
So you know what's funny about that? So Scene is probably the most legendary graffiti artist in the world right now, right? Good friend of mine. He's using the studio back there. He's there as we talk. He's painting right now.
Okay.
But his whole goal in life is to paint happy squirrels. Bob Ross is his hero. So you said that's funny. So shout out to Scene.
Shout out to Scene,
bro. I
Happy
saw him like
squirrel.
for 1 second while I'm walking by. I'm like kind of a little bit starstruck with Scene
Yeah.
right there. Dude's
Yeah.
a fucking legend. Bro.
Legend.
I love that. So, what is it? So now you move into things that scare you a little bit, or
Yeah.
you've already done it.
Yeah.
What are those? What are those? What are the things that scare you? Like, what was it? I mean, I see sharks, and I gotta assume
Nothing
that.
scares me.
What was it that you put in your work that Ed Moses had talked to you about? What was the fears that you had put into your work?
Well, he had me embrace things, right? Embrace things that scares me. And let me think about that, because there is a lot of shit that scares me. I don't know.
These hands?
I mean,
No.
no. only by what you've been scratching over there in the front and the back.
Fuck, man.
Spiders, listen, I love spiders in the sense of I'm not going to kill them, whatever, but every time I see them, they shock me. Like, they shock me.
Well, dude, I grew up in New Orleans, right? So roaches and rats,
Yeah.
I don't like those motherfuckers at all.
Right.
What
is a good possum?
Water moccasins, rattlesnakes, that doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother me either.
A roach, I remember going to my mom's trunk and it had a snorkel, an old snorkel, and I breathed in, there was a dead roach in it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, fucking
Yeah.
petrified. I hate those
Damn.
motherfuckers,
Oh.
you know?
Yeah.
What is it about the roach that's so fucking scary? That, like, why is that?
I don't know, but I hate those things. I'm petrified of them. But here's the thing. I'm not like Ed. I'm not going to paint fucking roaches all in pieces to get over it. I don't give a fuck
That's
that
not
much.
the therapy you're doing.
I don't give a fuck that much. Fuck those motherfuckers.
Yeah. I'm not going to start collecting pictures of possums.
Yeah.
I hate fucking possums.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them. I don't want to.
They're adorable. What's wrong?
Oh, I hate those motherfuckers.
Nah,
They're
listen,
mean.
They look. You
mean.
know what? They look. Listen, possums look like an evolutionary mistake. Like, they're like all
Yeah,
scaly
yeah.
tailed and their face is crazy.
And an armadillo's even a bigger one.
Well,
Yeah.
armadillos don't
And
bother
we have
me.
nutrias in New Orleans. Nutrias, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a rat on steroids.
Right.
Motherfucking just
What are they called?
nutria.
Nutria.
Yeah. And I think
need to
That's like a
Google
protein
that.
shake.
I know.
Sounds
Yeah,
like-
that's where they
sounds
got
like
the name.
protein.
Hey, so they were bought. They're from France. Google it. I think I'm right. They bought it from France to make fur coats, right? So they're in the swamps, and all these old fucking hillbillies in the swamps were raising a nutria, which is a
Sure,
big rat,
sure.
for the fur, right? And
Yeah.
they had one of the hurricanes, and they went wild, and now it's a nuisance animal.
Right.
So they give you $10 a tail, and there's certain nights where the cops go out dressed in camo in their cars and hang out the windows shooting the motherfuckers.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fucking cute.
Wow. That's amazing
Yeah.
to me. That's, you were talking about colors. Let me ask you this. Do you think that because you always hear these stories like, oh, McDonald's developed the scheme yellow and red because that's going to make people hungry and shit like that. Do you believe that colors have psychological effects on people?
Bro, I don't know, because in school we studied stuff, right? If I remember correctly, yellow and black was the most popping colors, right? And it makes sense because all the roadwork signs, right? So
right.
There must be something to it, I guess. I don't know.
Right. So that's a popping, and I would say that would mean something more to the effect of like eye-catching, which is not going to be the same thing as emotion or psychology.
Yeah.
So just because it stands out to you. And sometimes, I'll just be straight up, sometimes I think it's just fucking bullshit. Like, I think that culture teaches you, like, oh, red's hot.
Yeah.
Or yellow is banana, or whatever they want to teach you. But if you were to live in a pure, just color world, I don't know that it would really trigger those emotions in you. Or do you think differently?
No, I think you evoke emotional color for sure. So I think you go in a red room or a black room or a white room or a fluorescent orange room, you're going to feel different for sure.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, black room causes depression. Dark colors in a room and you live in it, you're going to get depressed.
Red's
Right.
a little psycho. I mean, I did a red room for a gallery one time, all red and red neon, and it was eerie, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what is interesting is right behind you, there's like a mint-colored green.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That mint-colored green, give or take a few tones up or down, and light blue
Yeah.
are the two colors I hate the most. You want to
Really?
know why?
Yeah.
Because every institution I've ever been in was either painted that color green
Really?
on the inside or baby blue. And those colors are emotionally
Yeah.
set to make your ass calm,
Okay,
quiet.
so funny you say that because yesterday I painted for Artists for Trauma, right? It's all these dudes are in wheelchairs and this and that, and they have to learn how to function and do these things. So this is a car simulator that they have to learn how to get out of the wheelchair into the car, right? And it was like that beige, institutional beige,
Fuck
right?
that color.
Every school,
Like every school, right, man?
every graffiti piece I got buffed was that color, right?
Right.
So I saw this motherfucker. I was like, "Fuck this!"
Right.
And I was going to do all oranges and sunsets, but I was like, when I saw it, I was like, something triggered me. I was like,
Right.
And I fucking went nuts. It's so fucking colorful. I went crazy with the colors.
Right.
Because it was that institutional dookie fucking.
Right. That
Yeah.
just instantly makes you have fucking like a little twist in your
Every
gut.
time you go to
Hate that.
jail,
All that shit,
Yeah.
bro. They automatically bum me out. I like the complete opposite.
Because you're right. It's made to make you like, ugh.
Right, but every time you guys say that, I always think like, yeah, but isn't it also true that it might have been the cheapest paint because nobody wanted it?
Sure. That's
And then-
absolutely correct.
And then your experience there.
Bro, absolutely correct. Because there's tall cans, right? Tall can. But back in the day, in the 80s, right? They had a spray paint at Standard Brands or whatever that store was.
Yeah.
And it was like this big, right? And it was 99 cents. And it was that institutional fucking bullshit gray. And I'm like,
Right.
So, like, what I think is, this is why I was asking you about emotion and colors, is because I was thinking about, like, on the one hand, like, these institutions that they're going to just, if red was the one that nobody was using, they would just use red because it was the cheapest. And then you would go to jail, which is never going to be a cool thing. I mean,
And
then-
always see red.
And then you're going to be like, red fucking can bite my balls.
But I guess this was something that they claim was psychological that they did.
but I think
knowing
he's right.
ahead of
I
time.
think it's like just cheapest paint. So let's make it a reason, you know?
Right,
Right.
I agree with that. And then, because, so, all right. So then, let me ask you this. What is, and I know you're probably going to be like, first of all, why did Andre the Giant work so well for Shepard Fairey? Like, what was it about the Andre the Giant face? What was that? Like, why did that work?
You know, because Andre had a posse, right? Right? That the sticker that he did, Shepard did. What did it say? Andre has a posse or
Something like
Giants
that.
pop, but that was a hip hop thing.
Yeah, but
It was Andre the Giant, the
that's
wrestler.
it was a cross of cultures, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when this shit was like kind of outdated but kind of cool.
Right.
Like we did it with Dukes of Hazzard. We've all done it with everything. Like
Like
Good
a
Times,
nostalgia.
JJ Walker. Everyone has this time where it comes. But he hit the cross section at the perfect timing, right?
Right.
So it was that, and the fact that dude's getting up with stickers, doing graffiti illegal, like it was something for skaters and people to just jump onto. So I think it was the perfect storm.
Yeah, because
Andre was the biggest wrestler. He was. If you go watch, there's a documentary or two on him now.
No,
He's
yeah,
the
I'm
biggest.
Everybody loves
Oh,
Andre
yeah.
the Giant. I've always seen it, and I'm like, why did that work
Hey,
so
I
well?
shook his hand, bro,
Andre the Giant.
and I was like, it's beyond belief. Like it's abnormal.
Isn't it true? It's a 64-ounce steak. His hand was like a giant 64-ounce
I just thought I was
steak.
like, it felt like I was like, doing this.
Right. Nuts.
And how tall was he?
7'4".
Bro.
7'4".
Let him, the man.
Yeah.
Did you meet him, Sean?
Is your name Risky?
Yeah, Risky. He met him.
Bro, he was just,
Shut him down real quick.
Sean.
Don't you worry about
Boxing
nothing, bro.
skills.
No.
hey, he's just like this monster. You know?
Right. And
Bigger
yet-
than life. Bigger than life.
Because I used to watch him, dude.
Nicest guy.
Right.
And I met him we were in a strip joint, right? And he was just like
He was stripping?
yeah. He's the most polite dude ever, just cool and just kind of humble, and they just
Until you got off of his lap, then you didn't like that too much.
Yeah, he got mad at me. It was weird. It was weird.
No, but okay, so he was a nice guy. Because I would watch him wrestle, like, and I would see him in the ring, and it was awesome because he really was huge, but he would get winded. Like, there was something about how big he was that was hard on his back or something.
Yeah, bro. The guy wasn't like.
bad back surgeries. He wasn't supposed to be wrestling again. His back
Right.
was so fucked up.
Who's the other one? The
So-
Big Show, right? The other guy, right?
Right.
Not as big as.
Yeah, but I met him too, right? And another guy, same exact person, just different people, you know?
Yeah.
But like another guy, I don't know, man. I think these guys kind of fell into something. Like, you know, I don't really know their life or anything, but like,
Right.
I think they're just kind of like, oh, this is what I'm here for. This is what I do, and they're just kind of cool.
Or this will work.
And I don't think they had malicious. Like, they were just cool dudes. Like, it's
Right.
it's very rare you meet a beast like Mike Tyson, right?
Right.
That just wants to kill.
Right.
He's just like, it's you know, I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, it's a different breed, right?
Right, it is. You know, it's interesting that you say that because I've been listening to a lot of Mike Tyson interviews.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I'm really fascinated by the fact that he's a fighter who really doesn't play by the rules at all. He's not like an Evander Holyfield. Holyfield's like a great fighter, but he's kind of an introvert, and he's not getting into a lot of trouble.
No.
Tyson, on the other hand, is like a fucking comet.
So listen, this fight's gonna be crazy. Cause check it out, right? So Tyson came in going, "Oh, I think I made a mistake. You know, this
Yeah.
guy's so great. This that."
Yeah.
And the last interview was like, "I got a hard on." I'm like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I'm like, "Here we go." Tyson's back.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And also, I'm also fascinated by the Buster Douglas story with Tyson because you're like, for 25 fights, everybody was like, who's going to be the one to take out the giant? Like,
Yeah.
this guy can't be stopped.
Yeah.
Iron Mike. And
Yeah.
then it was a guy you kind of never heard of came
Yeah.
out of nowhere, and then nothing
Yeah.
was the same after that.
Nothing.
No.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think.
I
There's
think he went
weird-
to prison though. Tyson,
Well,
after that.
Yeah,
after
but he
that,
lost his mind. He lost
after
his
that,
fucking
yeah,
mind.
after
Yeah,
that.
no, right.
But what I'll say is,
Go ahead.
you know how they say, and really, you got to watch this fight, bro.
Do it.
When you watch that fight with Buster,
Sean,
you know
how
how they
do we watch
sometimes
this
say,
fight?
you know how they sometimes say, it was that guy's night. Like that guy,
Yeah.
no matter what would have happened, it was that guy's night.
Yeah.
If you watch him, and you cannot take this away from Buster, bro.
He was out.
What? Buster was out?
Yeah, like he could have very much lost that fight.
There was moments, but if you watch that whole fight and you watch the movement by Buster,
Yeah.
dude, people had never even seen like a heavyweight move the way Buster was moving, dude. Like he fucking was able to distance
I
and do
have
all that
heard-
shit. Like there's not many fighters I've seen like Buster that night. Buster couldn't bring it again. It was maybe some emotional shit.
No, I'll tell you.
But for that
Yeah.
moment, that Mike Tyson did not have a chance against him in
Do
that
you know
round.
what it was?
Yeah.
What?
And I heard this, that Buster's mother was dying
Of course.
or had died.
Of course.
Oh, there
Died.
you go,
She
there you
died.
go.
He
There you go.
dedicated the fight to her.
And she said for a long time that my son is going to beat Mike Tyson.
Right.
And it was that what got him up for that fight.
But he wasn't going to be stopped, man. Mike Tyson was losing. Anybody that would have fought that dude that night was losing that fight, dude. And Mike Tyson, like,
Yeah.
he broke his will too. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of shit. You know, you watch that fight. I've watched that fight. I watched it the moment it happened live, and I watched it over and over again. And it was just like it was that dude's night. He was fighting for a reason
Yeah.
that was bigger than Mike Tyson's.
And that's
Yeah.
what I try to
You
tell
know?
people
Yeah,
when I'm like,
he wasn't looking at the stands. He wasn't looking at the. He was looking at.
At Mike, and he also believed. He believed that that dude could be beat, and there was
Listen.
a lot of people that were broken before
Listen.
they went in that thing. And I'm telling you, bro, 50% of that fight is
Listen.
psychological, bro.
100% what you're saying is psychological and it's about commitment. And it's
Commitment.
because he had a commitment to his dying mom. He could either get her in the grave with her and die, or he could do what his mom said that he could do and make good on that promise, and he committed to it. And there was, what you're saying is right. I believe that Buster Douglas on that night was not going to leave that ring. If he was going to leave the ring, it was going to be dead. 100%.
Dead.
And that's what it takes, I think, to succeed at anything.
Hey, man, if, watch it. Just go back into your mind and think about some of the fights that you've witnessed in real life. And the guys that were fighting for a reason, and the guy that was fighting just to be a fucking cocksucker.
It usually ends. That fight you were talking about earlier, that dude's a golden weight boxer that I fought. That you talking about?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was not losing that fight.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
Golden glove.
Golden glove.
Right.
You got either one of you guys know Oscar De La Torre?
I know De La Hoya.
No, Oscar.
You know De La Hoya?
I mean, Carlos De La Torre.
I don't know him personally.
Yeah,
You know Carlos?
I think Lupe is his lawyer, right?
Maybe.
Lupe is his manager. My lawyer, Lupe, I think he's his manager.
Okay. Anyways, so, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Something
all right.
crazy.
Hold on a second. Let me
Mike Tyson.
Listen, let me just...
Hey, Mike Tyson got Mike Tyson Farms now. How come I see billboards like that with the weed? Mike Tyson's growing weed now and shit, right?
What I was trying to say, too, was that...
He's a brand. We can do anything with
No, but Tyson is. I mean, there's,
Absolutely.
that guy, as much as you want to say his addiction issues and whatever else he's got going on.
Love Mike. Wow.
Right? Mike is still here. He's still fucking in the game. He's a promoter. Right? Now he's got a farm and he's punching cows. I have no idea what he's doing. But the guy survived a long time. And that's, I think, to a certain extent, I think what Risk represents and what you represent, Steve, which is people who've been in the game enough to have some real insight and some real expertise into what they're doing. I got a shit ton of further questions here, but I just got a couple I want to rattle off real quick. Okay, Risk, here we go. Let's not fuck around. Does an artist need enemies?
Oh, wow.
That's an interesting question.
I know.
Okay, an artist, maybe not. A graffiti artist, maybe so.
Okay, and what would be the reason?
Man, we're so competitive, man, and I mean, I'm different. I'm not there anymore, but I had to flex, bro. I was a kid, shot, stabbed, all that shit. I had to and I'm a little white dude in the hood, right? I think it was necessary for me to prove myself, and I had to look for reasons maybe to prove myself at sometimes, which I don't have to do anymore. And I used to like to test people, oh, this motherfucker thinks, here we go.
Right.
So I think as a graffiti artist, maybe. As an artist, no.
Who do you believe is one of the smartest women you've ever met or that you know
of? That's a hard question. I don't know her, but
Go ahead.
RGB, I respect her tremendously.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, I think she was awesome.
Right. Excited about her replacement?
No comment.
Your sculpture, LA Doors, right? Why does
wait, which one?
You have a sculpture. It's called LA, right? Welcome to LA or LA Doors, and it's wood doors with iron on it?
Yes, gotcha.
Okay. Why is it iron and wood? What is
okay,
that?
so that sculpture represents the old guard being knocked down, right? So as artists, graffiti artists, we were just, I did Mocha, right? The show, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people on that board were legends to me, big influences, and they're my biggest fans. But when I started selling to their collectors, they're like, fuck this.
Right.
So I'm taking money out their mouth. They're like, oh, well, that's not a real artist. I'm like,
That's when it changed.
That's when it changed. So those doors represent the old guard getting knocked out and the new guard come in. So I wrote on their doors, Risk, I'm here. Fuck your iron doors. I'm breaking them open. So that's what that means.
Right. Now, Robert Standish was here, and he talked to us, and he confessed, because I asked him, it's look, artists are allowed to be eccentric a little bit. That's what society wants them in part for, is to jack each other off and tell crazy stories. That's what we need to hear in order for us to do a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
What's the craziest artist party that you went to? He told a story about people being naked and painting each other with paintbrushes and shit like that. Did you ever go to any weird orgies?
That's every night, bro. I don't know. That's his craziest story.
That's like a Tuesday. That's like a
Stepping the
Tuesday.
fuck up, bro.
Did you have a crazy story? Were you ever in a basket with a hole in it, or?
Oh, Jesus Christ almighty.
Was I going through the
You
hole?
were, he was outside of the basket.
Either side, yeah, no. Any crazy parties? No names.
Oh, bro, come on, man. See,
P. Diddy
my
party?
chick just moved out, so I could talk about this freely now.
Yeah.
But yeah, every night. I mean,
I think this is a little bit odd that we're doing this podcast.
I think
and
it's
this
beautiful.
Is just watching
I can't-
her carry boxes out.
Dude, by the way, what you are to art or whatever is what this podcast is to conversation.
Yeah,
All right?
cool.
Just so you understand, like, to me, that's the perfect backdrop. All right. So, yeah.
But the crazy art stories, man. Fuck. Well, we talked about a lot. You know, getting knighted, that's crazy, whatever.
No, I'm talking about parties.
The sex shit, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Dude, I grew up in Hollywood, bro. Like, come on, bro. Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith. You know, like, I did.
Yeah. What story's behind that? What story is behind that?
You're gonna have to give him some kind of fucking
Yeah, what's-
high heel or something, bro, before
Yeah,
he won't
what-
leave you alone.
What's the You said Aerosmith and then said
Listen, I've been blessed to meet a lot of great motherfuckers. And I respect their privacy. And I'd talk about anything I could talk about, but I'm not going to talk about theirs.
All right, but no. And I'm not asking you to dish on anybody, but in a general way, can you say, like, yeah, there was this...
Imagine it. It happened.
Thirsty groupies.
Like, to get into this party, you got to take all your clothes off.
Bro, I
And
mean...
you got to paint
I
yourself
feel
like a
like-
chicken and crawl around in your
I
head.
feel like that, like what Risk is saying is like, yeah, all that stuff happened, and that's no longer that big of a deal to
Not
me.
at all.
So what I'm trying to figure out is like, was there a time that Risk was like in a thing where the woman was like, look, I just want you to stand in a pose for like 20 minutes
Right.
and just let the sun, hit your body parts.
Hey.
Like, was there any weird
Yeah,
one?
bro.
He's seen them all, dog.
Bro, it's not that it happens.
Risky, we just want you to come on this camera.
Yeah.
So we're going to put that up in the
All
fucking
that
Vatican.
shit. Like,
Get
paint
the
me,
fuck
paint
out.
me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, paint me. I'm like, all right, get the paint. They go, not that paint. I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
Right. Okay. Let's see. Oh, how about this? You ever almost die getting up on something and trying to paint it?
yeah, bro. I did the first overpass, right? It was like, I think it was the 110 freeway, and it was I think it was a train overpass, and Rival was there. I scurried out on it, and the wood was all rotten and shit. It was the first overpass ever done in LA. I did a terrible piece again.
Yeah.
Said risk on whatever, but the wood was falling from under me, right?
Yeah.
And it was falling down on the freeway. And I'm catching myself, whatever, and everyone's like freaking out. They're trying to pull me off. I wasn't worried about myself. I knew I was, strong. I could hold on, whatever.
Right.
But I was so scared. I was like, dude, this is how I'm going down. The headline's gonna be like, Risk kills somebody
Right.
because the wood fell through a car.
Windshield.
right?
I was like, dude. And I was like, so bummed. Like, shot, stabbed, like, that doesn't bother me. But killing someone else bothers me. I'm like, oh, man. And then Jack from Black Flies, sorry, Jack, I gotta tell the story. I'm at his warehouse in Costa Mesa, and he has some ARs and shit, right? So we get in there, we start shooting, right? We start going ham in the warehouse. We clear the whole warehouse out. It's full of smoke. All his workers run out. They leave.
Oh, man.
He has all these fucking pallets from China of all his cases for the Black Fly sunglasses. And all of a sudden, I see lights
Coming through.
outside, right? Because the dust, like, whatever. And it hits me. I'm like, oh, fuck. I just unloaded a whole round of fucking machine
Ammo.
gun
Right.
into the neighborhood.
Right.
I'm like,
It's going to be headlines.
Oh, no.
I'm like, dude.
20
again,
die in a bloodbath.
I couldn't sleep. I was like, dude. I had to get the newspaper in the morning. I'm like, I pray that there's no little girl on a tricycle that got hit by a bullet, right?
I've said those prayers before, too.
I was like, thank God nothing happened. But, like, that shit scares the fuck out of me. I'm not scared about fights or stabbed or shot. Like, I'm scared about killing someone innocently. Like, that scares me.
We have a good friend that comes on the show that fired a shot off. Kind of like a warning, high, just up.
Yeah.
And that bullet fucking hit a fucking 2x4.
Yeah.
Ricocheted. Fucking went through this dude's head.
Yeah.
He died while his family was hiding in the bathtub. And Brian ended up at 24 years old.
He did,
getting
like-
35 to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did 33 or
Yeah.
37 or
Yeah,
something
36.
like that.
Yeah. But all behind,
Yeah.
a
Just
quick
a
decision,
freak.
you know.
Yeah.
That scares me because, I'm irrational.
Right,
And
right.
a lot of my, I got arrested for 3 violent felonies and I beat that shit. Like, and like, I'm not that dude anymore, but like, that scares me. Cause like, I'm not scared of a fight or anything. I'm scared of like
Something that
killing.
happened. Yeah.
I'm
right.
scared of hurting somebody
Yeah.
by accident. That
Absolutely.
scares me.
Right.
Yeah.
Is
You know what I
there
like about Kelly?
what?
Kelly's always good to put out. You know, he's like Lepke. Put out. I'm
Lepke.
Jewish brothers over here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I'm half Jewish too.
Right.
So I just.
Oh, you're the bad Jew gang though.
Yeah.
Oh, Sai.
Yeah.
Sai.
Sai. We have Paulie in there. We got
Paulie.
Lepke.
Yeah.
You know, bunch of half breeds over here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not talking about. Mazel tov.
Is there an artist that you like avoid because so many people told you like you should check it out? Because like a lot of times, like people tell me about a movie or a thing, and I'm like, yeah. And if enough people kind of tell me about it, for some reason, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking see it now. It's just too many. I can't bother with that. Is there anything like that for you? Like an artist where they're like, you really should check out blah blah blah, and you're like, I don't know.
No, I'll always check it out.
Any movies or anything that you think are the best about graffiti? Like, what's the one that somebody should see?
Well, it goes back to Style Wars, bro. That's the holy grail, right? And I got to meet a lot of those dudes. I'm blessed, and some of them are heroes, and some of them are like I was like, I wish I didn't meet them.
Right.
But like, it's still the movie that it's the almighty, you know.
Right. Now, another sculpture you did was cutting a cop car in half. Is that correct?
Yes.
What does it take to cut a cop car in half? How do you even get a cop car?
That's easy, but
Why?
cutting in half. Why? The auctions they sell them and shit. You know?
Okay.
But cutting in half was a motherfucker. So I invented this. I didn't invent. I hired this guy to make a bandsaw to put the car through it. Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It's a Chevy 350 engine with a blade.
Fuck.
And he's gonna whatever. So I tell him, he goes, "Cool." He's building it. He's in Texas or something. He's building it, and I go, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm cutting a cop car." And he goes, "No, it's not gonna work." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're an idiot, bro." He's like, "Different substrates, you can't do it." I'm like, "Well, what'd I do?" He goes, "Cut it with a fucking grinder." I'm like, "Nah, it's gotta be clean." He goes, "Cut it with a hacksaw or a sawzall, blah, 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 and then come back and grind it, right?"
Yeah.
Cool. So my project for that show, Mocha or whatever that show was, was supposed to be like the easiest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
So I waited until 2 weeks before the show. I'm like, yeah, I'll put it through the thing in 24 hours and be done. They're like, nah, nigga. So I was like, cool. 427 grinder pads. My boy Woody. And we had to fucking take a string and lower it and grind everything perfectly. Biggest nightmare of my life. But that piece that you're talking about, cool. Damien Hirst, another huge influence to me. He did the natural history series, and he cut the animals in half, and he put the shark in formaldehyde and whatever. And he made a quote: "The shark is the world's biggest predator, like the great white." I'm like, I want to do an urban version, so take that out and be like, the world's biggest predator is a fucking cop.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
Bro.
So he cut the cows in half and shit. So I cut the cop car in half.
Yes.
Right.
That was it, you know.
That's dope.
Right. What do you think is the most aesthetically pleasing animal in the animal kingdom? Like, what do you look at and you're like, that's just fucking dope?
Strippers.
Yeah.
No, kidding, but not.
Right.
But not. But
We're
yes,
not lying about
but
that.
Not, but yes.
Well, what kind of animal? Spirit animal?
No, I mean, like, what do you look at? Because I know me, dude. One of the things I love more than anything else, I don't know why. Maybe I'm fucked up. Maybe I am. But I like wild dogs. I look at wild dogs. They're painted weird. Their proportions aren't like what you normally see, but there's something about them that I'm like, man, that looks real.
So here's the thing. So I painted for Artists for Trauma the other day, right?
Yeah.
And they had their service dogs.
Yeah.
And these dogs are the fucking McLovin was one name and Pearl was the other name. And they were the best, awesome dogs in the world. And dog is the man's best friend. I get that. Cool. So I get that. But then also, well, man, that's a hard question. But like, if you look around here, it's about the time the rabbits are going to come out. We have a ton of wild rabbits. So there'll be like 10 of them in the yard in a minute.
Yeah.
And I feed them. I get bags of carrots like this and I feed them. And I love those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But the chickens, hate, I love them, but they shit on my paintings. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I just love all animals, I guess. It's so hard, you know.
Yeah.
Back to the strippers.
Right.
Going out and doing trade shows in Las Vegas twice a year, you get guys like us get familiar with like the local strip clubs, especially maybe the Rhino in fucking
Never heard of it.
in Vegas. And I remember, we go Esteban, Cartoon, me, we were a bunch of fucking moñacos. And I had this
I guess
thing.
he's into malacas, Dino.
I had this thing, like, I was like, we go with fucking Duke and everybody, And
Yeah.
this thing, like, I'm going to pull a fucking stripper, I'm going to pull a stripper. Like, just giving her money, and I have my whole little thing. And I was like, happened once and happened twice, and I'm starting to get the knack of this thing, dude. I'm pulling these fucking strippers out, and everybody's spending all this money. I'm spending no money in the book, right?
That's key, though.
Oh, you already know the deal. He's the guy that ain't getting lap dances, that ain't going to the room,
Right.
No dances.
and they're all crowding around you, want to talk, and that'll you
gotta
get
separate
down.
yourself.
So I'm thinking I'm good, but I know I'm really not that good,
Right.
Because there's a guy named Risky.
Right.
And fucking, for every fucking third girl that I fucking pull out of a strip club, bro, we'd be having a conversation after we got done having sex and be like, do you know Risky? He had been there like fucking 6 months before me.
Right.
Maybe 6 hours before
He'd
me.
already tagged that
Oh,
wall.
yeah.
He'd already tagged that wall.
bro. I really
He
thought
climbed
I'm
up-
doing something. Then they hit me up with, do you know Kelly Risky?
Good
I
times.
love him.
Good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, but it's an emotional day because his woman is on the
It's an
day that you're
emotional
telling
day.
these great stripper stories.
But yeah, man. You know what,
Speaking
man?
of strippers, my baby's mama, I met her at Crazy Girls.
Yeah.
And we had a great run. It's over, and I love you, baby. Bye.
Right.
Bye, Felicia.
Listen, seasons, baby. That's just the way it is. Some things work. I'm on my second marriage.
You know what? I'm actually.
Go ahead.
This is the best news for me. That this fucking guy's single. Because now it's on.
Right. Now you're ready.
We're going to go show people how to live in your 50s, bro. That's what we're about
We
to
can do that.
Yeah, bro. I'm
Hey,
in it
Sean,
right
You're
here.
lucky.
Next time we see these guys, Sean, the next time we see these guys, they're going to be all sucked up.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
all tired. They're going to be like, man.
Super tan.
Right, exactly. I'm like, all right. Now that we've talked about strippers, this is the right time to ask this question. Are you ever going to illustrate a children's book?
Oh, I've tried a couple times, bro.
Have you?
Yeah, I did one. It didn't get published. Matty Matt, a good friend of mine, my roommate, he had Matty Matt on a motorbike, and I want to do that. But I definitely into that. I want to do that. I did a coloring book for Mocha, right?
Right.
I did that.
Who the fuck is not jumping on that?
Yeah,
That seems
that's
like
the
a
shit.
gold mine.
That's the
to
shit. I
me.
wanna do
Shumahan's trying to pitch it out right now.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
I got one right now.
Yeah.
It's about a fucking hippopotamus and a tugboat.
Yeah, there you go. It sounds good. It sounds good.
Yeah.
I just thought of that off the top of my head. But yeah.
But it sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
it
do
does
it.
sound good.
Right.
I'm already
He already envisioned the
Hippopotamus,
whole thing.
tugboat, right. They're friends.
Yeah.
They go around the world.
Yeah, I love
they
that.
go, they're crazy girls. They find strippers together.
That's actually great.
Right? That's an excellent story.
Hey, Matty Motorbike is about a kid. It's about me, right? So it's a kid that moved his whole life, and he didn't have friends, so he gravitated to motorbike and became a motocross star, right?
Okay.
Because graffiti is my story, right? I
Yep.
didn't have friends, and I gravitated to graffiti. Now I got tons of friends because of art.
Right.
But we gravitate towards something, right?
Yeah.
I think graffiti is maybe too pigeonholed, so I Matty Motorbike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
You know
it.
what's interesting about Risk is that he says he has a lot of friends, but what's funny is just like a Paulie B.
Yeah.
How you meet all these different people from different walks of life, but
Yeah.
they've got a story of Paulie B.
Yeah.
Risky's very much the same way, bro. It's very much the same way that I'll meet somebody in motherfucking Boise, Idaho,
Yeah.
or somebody in fucking Ensenada, Mexico, and they tell me this deep, long story, real
Right.
intimate story with how they were fucking somewhere for a week with fucking Risk, or how he did this and I was there.
Like he's like, yeah, I'm prize one from beer nuts.
Then it's just this dude, like, he just moves through shit. I hear Risky's name come fucking out of like
Water
left
and power.
field. Water and power.
Hey, if you could paint the White House, what would you do?
I'd do me, bro. I'd fucking
Color fill?
fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Fuck yeah.
fucking dope. I don't know why
Yeah.
they don't do that. They should allow fucking, America's
Yeah.
artists to come through and
Yeah.
just do that. You could redo it every 4 years or every year, every 3 months. What the fuck?
What?
Bro, that's the best thing they could ever do. That's brilliant.
Be
bro.
smart.
If they did that,
That would change some shit.
we could end some riots and shit.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I got Kelly, take us Risk. What is happening in this season other than baby's mama moving out? What's going up in the future here? What's going on in this season of your life, creatively, professionally? What are things? What can you tell us are happening? What's unfolding for you?
Well, I'm
right
gonna
now?
go retro for a minute because baby's mama's leaving.
All right.
So I'm gonna get.
What's
I'm
the,
gonna be around for a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
get
that. Yeah.
belligerent for a minute.
Okay.
For a minute.
What's
Okay,
the
please.
theme song?
After
to
that, Brian Greif is here right now. Greif, sorry. He gets mad when I say that.
That's your manager?
That's my manager. Brian,
you're doing a great job.
You're
man.
doing
Brian.
an excellent
Brian,
job.
And we
Get
want
on
to
this
talk.
mic.
We all
Come
want
on
you to
right
manage
here.
us too. So
Hey, come over here.
Brian, come over here. So Brian did Saving Banksy. He's done a ton of shit. I'm going to let him talk. But we have a lot of shit coming up. We did a lot of shit recently. And go.
Look at his pants. Those are the kind of pants of a man who's managing artists, right?
This is all like mural paint from working with Kelly on murals. I think most of this is from Canada.
Right. You could sell those
Collateral
pants.
damage.
You could sell those
But
pants
if
for
I was
$240,000.
if I was costume designer and I was like, all right, this is the painter, the artist's manager,
Right.
I'd be like, put a little paint on,
Yeah,
give him a
exactly.
button down, give him
Right.
a nice clean button down, and
He's
some
got
paint on.
the button down and the paint on pants.
Right,
Right
it's
on.
perfect.
No,
dude.
no.
Nailed it.
Let's be real. He went around the thing and Scene was flicking paint on him right before he got on the fucking show. What's the secret to managing artists?
I think the only secret to managing artists is being attached to an artist that is special, like Risk.
Right.
Right? It's working with people that have a history and have a voice.
Right.
And what I love about what Risk does is his stuff's intentional. Right, every part of it. Using surfboard resin to go back to his roots, and the metallic tissue stuff with the license plate. There's a story and a meaning behind everything he does.
Right.
There's a lot of artists out there, and some of them struggle, and they don't get traction because they're just trying to do things and hope that it sells.
Right.
I don't think he goes into anything thinking I'm going to do this to sell it. He does it because he's passionate about it,
Right.
because he wants to do it, and that always translates into success.
Does Risk have a crazy writer when he goes places? Like, do you have to say only yellow M&Ms when
yeah.
this shows
Don't look
up?
me in the eye.
Right, don't look him in the eye. You know what I mean? He needs a lot of.
Don't talk directly at him.
Don't look me in the eye.
And when you walk through, spray stripper perfume in the air. That's what he's used to.
Right.
What is it?
No, because he's super easy to work with, but we should probably start doing that just
to add, right?
yeah,
Right?
just
To add
add.
to its value. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to party with Risk and you couldn't hang on and you fell off?
2 nights ago.
Were you
He's
ever?
still recovering right now.
No, that's not true. I very rarely tap out.
Hey, you guys have to understand, Brian and I became friends before he's my manager.
Right.
So we were partners in a couple projects. We became really good friends.
Right.
And Brian signed on to this fucking nightmare fantasy, whatever you want to call it. And now Brian lives here and on the compound, and we're doing big things, and I love you. And it's been great. But it has to happen like that. It has to be organic. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what, bro? Your whole thing has happened organic, Kelly.
100%,
sure.
bro.
By
100%.
watching
That's why it's
you,
been a long
dude.
road, bro.
Yes,
I
yeah,
coulda- that's
it's
why it's been a long
exactly.
road.
No,
'Cause
it's
I
true,
could
brother.
have skipped steps,
Right.
but
I could line you up right here and say the same thing for a Stellan or cartoon.
Yeah,
Like, it's
100%.
been a process, man. But sticking to
this show,
sticking to what
this
you
show,
do.
I did this show because
is
you're
what
my boy, right?
Of course, brother.
My podcast, my live stream, whatever. Like, we gotta step it up, Brian. By the way, they just shit all over us. But anyway, I gotta step it up. Like,
Brian, what are you doing?
Brian, you fucked up
God
again,
damn it,
Brian.
Yeah, I'm looking at this setup and I feel really inadequate.
I'm like,
Hey, wait.
they
Listen.
can all hear us and shit. It's weird.
Sean Blue
crazy.
Eyes is available for consultation. His normal price is $5,000. He'll knock it down to $1,000. Right? Don't laugh when I
I
say
christen his
Listen,
kid for
I'm his
6,000. I
manager.
tell him for
Hey,
6,000. I
I'm
christen
his
kid.
manager, Sean. Next time, I'm sure he's probably had to tell Riz this. Like, don't fucking laugh when I set the bar at 5,000 and reduce it down to 1. Don't crack up.
Yeah.
Actually, look pissed. Like,
Yeah.
what am
Yeah.
I doing?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that right, manager?
Yeah.
You
And
do
then the
negotiations,
1,000
right?
Oh, yeah,
It's
all the time.
alcohol.
Who-
Like,
hey. Now,
but
let's,
yeah, but
let's,
it's the thing. So so anyway, like your show, like it's all my friends, bro.
Exactly.
We have yet to do a show that someone I didn't have do time with,
Right.
in one way, shape, or
Right,
form.
right.
And it's gonna come. Cool, I get it. But right now, we almost a year. It's everything is a close person to me, right?
Right.
And that's grassroots is like what people don't. Earlier, we were talking about this, right?
Yeah.
Grassroots is what people don't get. Like
Yes.
social media is great, but if you don't know where it came from, you don't know where it's at, right?
Yep.
And
100
we've certainly also experienced, though, jointly, we've experienced a lot of people that came from some places that we came from and
Didn't grow.
it didn't grow,
Yeah.
or grew off on a way. It just didn't, I don't know, like maybe from the whole time there was no real soul there, or there was no real get down, and aren't. And then there's a certain, like when you were talking about with Muggs.
Yeah.
Like there's a certain tribe of motherfuckers that have been knowing each other for a long time. Right.
And we'll do anything.
Right.
Muggs,
and when I call, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
2 seconds. Muggs like, yeah, I'll be there. You call me, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And that's. I got no choice but to be like, yeah.
Me either.
100%. I'm
Me
there.
either.
And that's where we come from, right?
Brian, the manager. Brian,
exactly.
the manager. Let's ask a question that all of America, including the international, actually, Putin's listening to this podcast right now, and he wants to know. Has anyone ever tried to steal Risk from you? Like another manager come by and said, tried to steal your artist?
Not yet, but it's funny. I run into people all the time that they'll introduce themselves to me and they'll say, "Yeah, I'm Risk's manager."
Oh, is that true?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's happened a couple of times.
And you're like, really?
yeah, we're doing something.
I was manager in
Hey, they come
Arizona.
around and go, I
Just
got
in
this
Arizona.
project. Risk is involved. He's like, really?
Tell me more about that, motherfucker. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, who are some of your favorite artists besides Risk is number one and blah 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 blah? Everything you're supposed to say politically for the guy that you work with, but who are some artists that you really like that people should look out for, or that you think are interesting, or dead
Well,
now?
listen, I'll let you answer. But like, asking what he likes is different. Like what he's done, he did the Banksy movie. Like he's worked with some legendary people and wherever. Actually, that's your question. I'm out.
You're managing Brian, isn't that right?
I'm like, wait a minute, I got confused.
No, you're managing.
He's not going to risk for a minute.
No, he's managing you.
Well, I'll do a couple.
Yeah.
First, I want to talk about a dead artist that I think is extraordinarily important, but very few people know who he is. And he's a British artist. He was one of the first 5 surrealists, and his name is Gordon Onslow Ford.
Gordon Onslow
Nailed
Ford.
it.
Mr. and Mrs. Earbuds, if you don't know shit, you better go look that up right now. And
Hey, by the way,
educate
I'm going
yourself.
to take you for the tour. You didn't
Do
get
it.
to see it. Lucky saw it, but we have a gallery next door, right?
Yeah.
And we have some Onslow Fords hanging there.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're
we
going
have
to go
some-
take a look at
we
that
have
later.
Herring, Matisse, Warhol, Onslow Ford. But, yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Incredibly important. People don't know because to be in the surrealist movement,
Right.
The guy that ran the surrealist movement was a poet. He wasn't a painter. His name was Andre Breton, and he decided if you were in the movement or out of the movement, and he had rules. And if you violated the rules, he'd kick you out.
I love it.
The first rule was to be in the surrealist movement, you could not sell your work because that corrupts the creative process. Right?
Fuck yeah.
Well, most artists can't do that. Onslow Ford was from a very wealthy British family, and he didn't show or sell his work. He started painting in 1939, did not show or sell his work until 2 years before he died, which he died in 2000. Wow. But he influenced, he taught Jackson, he inspired Jackson
Pollock,
to
really?
splash paint because Onslow
Yeah.
Ford started the automatic painting movement and was doing splash painting before Pollock.
Did he do
Wow.
anything with Dolly?
Oh, yeah.
Did he hate Dolly or did he love Dolly?
He liked Dali, but he thought Dali was too commercial,
Right,
too
of
gimmicky.
course. Right, with the
Right?
fucking lobster on the head.
Yeah,
Please.
but
Get that the fuck out of here.
the Guggenheims that started the Guggenheim Museums,
Right.
brought Onslow Ford and 4 other surrealists over from Paris before World War II, so the Nazis didn't get them.
Right.
And they started a lecture series called the New School in New York. So Onslow Ford was the only one that was allowed to do the lectures. The other ones, because they were Spanish or Italian. Back then, if you had an accent before World War II, you were suspect, right?
Right.
Right.
He was
Right.
British, so he did all the lectures. And in his first lecture, in the audience were Jackson Pollock, Robert Motherwell, de Kooning, Kamarowski, and all of them, he was the guy.
Wow.
And they all learned what they did. Incredibly famous artists like de Kooning. He actually stole de Kooning's girlfriend away and ended up marrying de Kooning's girlfriend, Jacqueline
What's happened
Johnson.
a lot in art,
Yeah.
over and over.
Right.
He was,
Dude,
he was
one-
the
that's-
only guy that Picasso would take direction from.
Get the fuck out of
It's
here.
crazy how one artist sparked like a ripple effect just into
Well,
creation.
it's not one artist. It's artists spark ripple effects, right? Mm-hmm. And there's crossroads.
It's true, and also because to be at that level or to be at even halfway there, you're already in a little bit of a rarefied group. The only people that are meeting up and talking and dealing with all this shit are the people that really care about it. And that's why sometimes it seems like these groups, whether it's film, painting, music, whatever it is, you kind of see the same group names together. Like It's because the people that are that passionate that are doing
like-minded individuals,
and they're also going an extra step because they're not getting paid yet about it, but they're still doing it.
But that ripple effect is dialogue that you're talking about needs to keep on going.
forever.
I mean, I think
100%. Listen, we don't invent shit, right? We add our twist to it. We keep going, and it's really important to keep the dialogue going. Like,
you know, Risk,
it's very rare people that come out the box and invent something new. And maybe I'm wrong, but like maybe Banksy, maybe he's one of the people that came out the box and invented something new. But they're continuing his dialogue right now. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Now, I hear you say that, and that's interesting, and that's true maybe in the last, let's say, like 1,000 years or whatever it's been, because there's been a lot of art, humanistic development, and or at least from Western, what we traditionally call Western. I'm not even going to say it's really Western, but I'm just going to say from a Western standpoint, you've got this long line of ancient Rome, Greek, blah, 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 all the way to today.
Yeah.
But at some point, some motherfucker, we don't know who, you know, put their hand on a cave wall and blew on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, at some point...
Well, graffiti, right? So the reason graffiti is so important to me, it's the last hand to medium to serve as art form. After graffiti, it goes digital, right? So before that, we had cave drawings, we had ink, whatever you want to call it, fresco, chiseling, all that. But graffiti is the last, think about this.
Yeah.
The last real art form, hand to medium to surface.
Right.
It's the last.
Right. I mean, I almost just want to leave it there. With that observation by Risk.
Risk. I want you to take a moment to tell us, you know, what's on the agenda coming up ahead of you.
That's a Brian question.
A Brian question. Where can some of these listeners that are unfamiliar with your art?
A documentary. We have a product. Brian.
I want to be able to direct some of my listeners that might not know Risk, want to find out more information. So website, Instagram, what do you guys have coming up?
So there are two important Instagram pages.
Okay.
That's Risk's personal page, which is at Risk Rock.
Okay.
And then for all of his new prints and other things that we're releasing, it's at Risk Rock Studios.
Okay. Excellent.
And then the website is riskrock.com.
Excellent.
And there's a lot of stuff coming up. I don't know, because I kind of walked in towards the end. Mm-hmm. All the different things he's been doing with Monster, painting the cars, doing the paints,
great job on the
like
Monster
that.
cans.
Thank you, brother.
The
Thank you.
juice is great.
I've drank like 8 of them already.
Yeah.
My fucking
Great
balls
job.
are vibrating.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I mean, you know, we've got a big show coming up in Beverly Hills in December. Sideshow. He's working with Sideshow, which is one of the premier. They do like all the life size and different scale models for Marvel Comics, for Star Wars, that sort of thing.
Oh, and you're doing some vinyl over there. Beautiful.
Nice.
Awesome, man. Thank you, bro, for Risk. You know what? Thanks for just being a solid, good friend for all these years, man.
Lucky, I love you.
You know, I love you too,
Prize
brother.
one in the house, motherfucker.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Thank you for having us down to your studios, to your compound down here. It's gorgeous, and we're gonna walk around. Everybody, thank you for coming down today, and we're gonna say,
love you guys.
Oh.
You got anything to plug?
Yeah, I got something to plug.
Plug some shit.
Supermax hardware.
Supermax.
Yeah.
Coming back.
Hey,
Keep your eyes open.
Oh, it's come back?
Oh, yeah, we're relaunching.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my... I got to do one.
Hey, we're working with...
I got you a
Risk.
Supermax package.
We're working with Risk on that.
Yeah.
Risk is doing all the... and another shout...
Brian.
Yeah. Shout out to Hard to Kill, H2K. Keep your eyes open for that.
That's a series he and I are working on. Steve and I are working on an animated series. With Lepke.
Hey, Lepke sends me... not that I'm an addict or anything.
Dude.
But I get text every day from
every
Lepke,
morning, right?
And they're awesome, bro.
Yeah,
and sometimes I'm bummed out. Like I just told you guys, my chick just moved out, right? Whatever. But I see Lepke's text. I'm like, oh man, life's all right.
Life's all right. There you go, and that's why he does it.
Hey, by the way,
Lepke, I love you, motherfucker.
Yeah. Hold on. Vibes, Rolling Papers, Cookies, Cannabis. Shout out to Burner. Shout out to Soul Assassins. Mugs.
Assassins.
Yeah, Mugs and Estevan. Love you guys. Lepke, big shout out. And Tunes. Next up.
Love all you motherfuckers.
Sean?
God damn it, Sean. What about, isn't your guy working with Elon Musk's cousin, or you don't want to plug that? The guy's building fucking. All right, everyone.
No plug on that.
That's Sean's.
How about Avando Bowen?
Okay, Avonda Bowen LLP lawyers. If you want your shit checked correct, or if you just want to make sure that you're not wasting money on legal shit that ain't gonna work, come see me.
That's a lot of money wasted. I paid a lot of lawyers.
I'll tell you right now, I'm the one lawyer that will tell you, don't do it if it's not really
Are you
gonna
a lawyer?
work. I'm a lawyer.
We gotta talk.
He has
bro.
his own. He has his own.
Fucking
firm.
talk to me. I got my own firm.
All right, we'll talk.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to St. James Sense. I want to give a shout out. Jesus, right?
Jesus handling all of our posts for
our
Instagram.
IG guy,
Yeah, he's
right?
great.
He's a huge fan of Risk. By the way, Jesus is also his side gig. His main gig is doing our IG. His side gig is delivering for Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And he said he saw these cans when they first came out.
Yeah, so Coke has the same distribution as Monster, right?
Exactly. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's appropriate. Steve, I remember what I asked you before about a favor from Risk. I don't know if it's appropriate. And you were like, I don't know. But
I don't remember. But go ahead and ask it. It's
so
appropriate.
Jesus, the distributor, wanted to know if he could get your autograph.
Of course, bro. I'd be honored.
We'll hook that up.
Right.
Yeah,
All right,
nice.
so let's say shout out to Felix, shout out to Game, shout out to Steven Lucky Luciano, whoever the hell that is.
Yes.
Shout out to the Hard Luck Show, shout out to Budhead, shout out to Roy, shout out to Kitty Sterling.
Sai.
Sai.
Shout out, Sai.
Hey, 10 Planet, what is it?
10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
10
Planet West LA.
Oh, now
10
you can talk in the mic, huh?
10 Planet West LA, are you
Man, the Jewish came out.
Yeah. Are you
Hello,
playing,
motherfucker.
Hey.
Hey, shout out to Mike Messick, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, he just did my mask.
I
bro.
know,
Bro,
because
how
I fuck
crazy is
with
that?
Mike. He just
How
did all
crazy
my
is
hang
that?
tags.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Love you, Mike.
All right. Hey, Manager Brian, anything else? RiskRock.com.
And we are out of here. Adios, amigos, from the Hard Luck Show.
Later, motherfuckers.